Diablo Immortal continues to make headlines for all the wrong reasons. This is a game whose monetization, even by free-to-play standards, is so goddamn awful that popular streamers, YouTubers, content creators, and even online guides are deciding enough is enough, we are out of here, we will no longer be covering this game, or playing this game, or giving this game any more attention, as time and again it's proven that it does not deserve it, and it'd be unethical to continue to give this game attention. We kind of saw this already with Quinn69, who tweeted the following: "I can't believe I just looted my first 5 out of 5 star gem, and it only cost me 25,165 New Zealand dollars and 57 cents. Translating that to US dollars, we're talking about almost $16,000 for a single 5 out of 5 star gem. You need basically hundreds of them in order to max out your gear. It was just such an awful monetization system that Quinn literally decided to quit. Here is a Twitter user who clipped Quinn69 just straight up deleting his character and uninstalling the game. But beyond Quinn69, we've seen a number of other major outlets, YouTube channels and Twitch channels, deciding that enough is enough. So here we have a YouTuber going by the name Odijo, who does a lot of Diablo-related content, and his title speaks for itself. Time to quit Diablo Immortal, the full story. This is something that news outlet PC Game Zen covered in an article titled "Even More Diablo Immortal Streamers Quit as Exodus Continues." Scrolling down, you'll find a quote from Odijo from the video where he said, "Right now, we are still the reigning immortals on the Dark Wanderer server," referring to his clan, his guild. "But once that one is over, I guess this is going to be the time for me to pull the plug entirely." Odijo, who has played Blizzard titles including Diablo and Warcraft at high level for over a decade, says he isn't planning to release any more YouTube videos or guides for Immortal, and adds that many of his friends have quit the game or are also demotivated about playing it. And I mean, how can you stay motivated for a game that demands decades of your life or hundreds of thousands of dollars of your money to max out your gear, especially if it's for multiple characters? A major replayability factor of the Diablo franchise, playing around with all of these different classes and making different builds out of them, it's just way out of reach with the way Diablo Immortal is monetized and the way its progression system is intentionally hampered. Beyond that, you've got YouTubers like Bellier, who's been doing a lot of Diablo Immortal coverage and seemingly wanted to review the game, but just cannot bring himself to do it. "I wanted to review this game, but I can't. If I never have to talk about Diablo Immortal again, it will be a good thing." And then we have popular streamer Asmongold, who added that the game's brought in hardly any new ideas except for the ideas that come from the monetization department. Here's the thing, Diablo Immortal is a solid Diablo game. That's what sucks about all of this. Without the monetization, this could have been an overall well-received game. But even then, it's not as if Diablo Immortal takes those Diablo formulas to the next level or anything. It's just a solid Diablo game. Ultimately, the monetization is where all the new ideas have kicked in. But we are talking about innovation that is incredibly cynical and woefully predatory. And this exodus of content creators and the general disinterest from players who are just sick and tired of Diablo Immortal is causing Twitch viewership, for example, to tank. As reported here by news outlet Game Rant, Twitch viewership overall has dramatically fallen for Diablo Immortal. Peak viewers at the height of Diablo Immortal's popularity was nearly 224,000 Twitch users across 2,700 channels. A month later, and daily Twitch peak viewership is struggling to reach 2,000 viewers across 130 accounts. And you can actually go to the Diablo Immortal Twitch page right now and see this for yourself. Currently, as we speak, we're only looking at 1,600 viewers, which, I mean, for a Diablo game that's only been out a few weeks, that is an incredibly sad state of affairs. Players have also been reporting that they've been noticing this exodus of players. They've been noticing less and less players playing. "Seems players are quitting," said this Reddit user. "I'm on Albrecht and I'm seeing fewer and fewer players on the map, and also half the people in my clan haven't been in over 10 days. Just cleared countless inactivities, and I'm hearing same from other clan leaders. Seems people are reaching a breaking point and quitting the game. Who can blame them, honestly?" And other folks are responding saying that they've had a similar experience. Same here. Had a lot of people in Discord say they're quitting because it's becoming a chore. And here we have one more response that straight up just says that "I am bored by this game," and explains just how tediously repetitive, insufferably repetitive this game is, especially if you don't pay money. So immoral is the way that Diablo Immortal monetizes that Online guide websites like Maxwell here have decided that enough is enough, announcing that Maxwell is going to discontinue Diablo Immortal branch. And for those who don't know, Maxwell is a website that offers guides for Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and they thought they were going to do guides for Diablo Immortal, but they're no longer doing that, and other games like Lost Ark and Path of Exile. And here's what they had to say about this whole situation. The Maxwell team covers games we are passionate about. We had high hopes for Blizzard's Diablo Immortal release since it could ingratiate a new audience and generation of gamers to a franchise we love. For 2 years, our team, along with the community, thoroughly tested the tech alpha, and closed beta, concluding that the core game could be molded into something great. And that's the sad part about this. The exoskeleton of this game, the gameplay foundations, the mechanics, and all of these things, they're very solid. This could have been a celebrated Diablo game, one that released on mobile at that, sort of helping destigmatize the idea that all mobile games are utter garbage. They could have released something that would have made people go, okay, maybe some mobile games are worth giving a chance, but what they have done is just further reinforce people's concerns and fears and their disillusionment surrounding the mobile gaming landscape, which is just like 99% garbage like this. But even by those standards, Diablo Immortal is just on a whole other level. We provided a plethora of feedback during these testing phases to help make Diablo Immortal the best game it could possibly be. However, with heavy hearts, today we're announcing the closure of Maxwell's Diablo Immortal branch. They then detail the timeline of events surrounding Diablo Immortal's announcement and its various phases leading up to launch. Maxwell states here that the closed alpha is where the game was at its best. This was the best version of Diablo Immortal we had seen to date. There were no caps, no shop or pay-to-win elements, and the game truly rewarded playing to power up. If they would have released just a refined version of the closed alpha, maybe the narrative would be completely different from what it is now. But then the game launched, it released, our worst fears were realized, many of the key issues were not fixed and are still not fixed, and the free-to-play experience is worse than we could have ever imagined. With how the release turned out, we couldn't have been more disappointed. It's never easy to walk away from something you've put a lot of time into. That's the thing, they're not taking this decision lightly. There is a whole lot of investment that this website and its crew placed on Diablo Immortal's guides, but there is just a line that they're deciding that we're not gonna cross. There are lines that we're gonna draw in the sand when it comes to covering games that decide to disrespect players on this level. We feel responsible for the games we choose to support and the types of games we want to see be made. Most importantly, Maxwell exists to provide a service to our community members, and we consider it our duty to be good caretakers for them. As such, we cannot, in good faith, continue to cover this game. If only the higher-ups at Blizzard had this level of good faith and this level of morality sensibility. And you can see right here just how much work they put into the Diablo Immortal guides that they have released so far. Canceling a game with cumulatively put 10,000 plus hours of work and a ton of developer money into is not something we do lightly. In fact, we have never discontinued a game before. Unfortunately, recent events highlighted below drove us to this decision. Despite having put all this manpower and all this money into this endeavor, they're deciding that integrity is what's most important above all else, and are deciding that even if this is ultimately sort of a waste, if you will, of man hours and money, it's worth just stepping away from something that is clearly so morally corrupt. And I truly commend Maxwell for this, and I only wish game developers approached their endeavors in a similar fashion, especially where Blizzard is concerned, especially where Diablo Immortal is concerned. Here are the factors that led to the closure of Maxwell's Diablo Immortal division. Number one is the economic structure. No surprises there. This is by far the biggest reason we're discontinuing the Diablo Immortal branch. The predatory pay-to-win system greatly exceeds what's considered the norm for mobile gaming. Gambling addictions are real and can completely destroy lives. Even if 99% of players have perfect impulse control, we still can't stomach what happens to the other 1%. Indeed, 1% of millions and millions and millions of players is still a ton of people who Blizzard is preying on, whose lives and whose psychological and financial health Blizzard is ruining. This is completely against our values, and we will not remain a part of this any longer. Hell yes. Disengagement and community response. The disappointment we felt at launch aligns with the communities, not just from the pay-to-win perspective, but also the game itself. While we're not game designers, we can't believe this is the state of the game after nearly 2 years of testing and feedback. Unrewarding gameplay from Hell 1 difficulty to Hell 2 and beyond, your progression comes to a screeching halt. You can either grind 8+ hours a day despite the multitude of hidden caps that limits players' ability to progress too quickly, to put too much effort into the game, and to play at their own pace for 5, 10, 15 combat rating upgrades, or break down and go to the shop and get a lot more. It's a terrible feeling that extinguishes motivation to log in. Money isn't everything. Even with a poor reception, our Immortal branch would continue to generate revenue on our end. That's the thing about Maxwells' decision. They are giving up a revenue avenue because they're putting morality above wanting to make all of the money. And once again, I say, why can't game developers or game development studios higher-ups approach game development with such level of integrity? Because, of course, greed and corporate bullshit. But it doesn't make it any less frustrating that potentials of games are ruined. Life is about more than money, though. It's about doing the right thing. Thank you. As said throughout this post, we're sticking to our core values. We're walking away from 1.5 years of collective work, time, missed events, and family obligations, development time, and expensive costs to do the right thing by us and you. And last but not least, lack of remedy. Finally, as a team, we discussed what would it take for us to reopen the Immortal branch? Aside from severely limiting the infinite pay-to-win system and giving free-to-play players a real chance, we don't see a path forward for us. This is why we chose to shut down the branch prior to the first major update. We don't envision Blizzard implementing a remedy strong enough to truly bridge that gap. I agree with this. Blizzard has taken basically 1,000 steps over the line, and I expect them to maybe take like a couple steps back. And it's probably just not going to be good enough. But if by some miracle they manage to walk this back enough where monetization is reasonable and free-to-play gameplay avenues for progression are reasonable, then we might see Maxwell return. Maxwell suspects this is just not going to happen, and I 100% agree with that sentiment. I am not optimistic about Blizzard's morality after everything that's happened. It's like they didn't even try to win back any goodwill. They just leaned all in on greed. As for how Maxwell is handling the closing of the branch, they're going to keep all guides live on the site for a short period of time. No further updates will be made. So this is not just we're stopping right here and we're going to leave everything up. This is we're deleting the Diablo Immortal branch, this right here, in the not-so-distant future. And to close things off, it was emphasized that this was a unanimous decision among the Maxwell team. This wasn't just one higher-up saying, this is what we're doing. The decision to take down the Diablo Immortal branch was made together. We aren't canceling this because the quality is lacking or for a lack of resources. They just want to make a stand, and more people should, against predatory games industry trends. So yeah, be it out of sheer frustration against this game or out of a certain level of moral obligation, streamers, YouTubers, content creators, online guides, and all of these elements that keep a community thriving are all deciding we're out. There's a mass exodus that Diablo Immortal is facing right now. And the hope is that this will all have enough of a financial impact against Blizzard, or enough of an optics, PR, and reputation impact against Blizzard that it will teach not only Blizzard and Activision, but the games industry as a whole a lesson in engaging in something like this. People are more vigilant than ever right now about stuff like this. And when it comes to Diablo Immortal, you don't really have to be vigilant. This is an earthquake of shady monetization. People are expecting something pretty predatory, but this is far beyond even the worst assumptions about what this monetization would turn out to be. At the very least, it's encouraging to see that people are willing to fight back and speak out and take a stand against these kinds of predatory monetization, that they will strive to not let this stuff be normalized. It's easy to fall into this nihilistic mindset that what's the point of fighting back when inevitably this is all just going to get worse and worse and worse. But we have seen before how communities being vocal has led to companies having to pull back and not being able to further their cynical and predatory goals. And the hope is that all of this will ultimately have a lasting long-term effect that can pave the road to a future where this stuff isn't normalized, where we don't let companies get away with stuff like this. And hopefully government regulations will kick in to kind of mitigate the rampant nature of video game monetization that has gotten way out of control. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the latest on Diablo Immortal and the mass exodus that the game is experiencing when it comes to its community and its numerous content creators or online guides that are key and pivotal to keeping a community alive. Let me know in the comments below whether you think this will all have a significant impact on the future of Diablo Immortal and what kind of impact you think that'll be. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.